Did I get really sick? I'm guessing if you meant when I was parasite cleansing. So I'm going to give you a little story. I was in frequency, 2 years into frequency. My doctor was like, Alex, I don't know what to do. It's still there. We could just keep attacking it, but like this is just going to take a while. And I was like, yeah, I guess, whatever. Well, I learned about parasites, and I just knew a little bit of information that whatever you had, they had, because they consume whatever's in your body. So I decided I was going to start taking diatomaceous earth and like eating pumpkin seeds, pomegranate seeds, pineapple, things that parasites hate that I like, like typical food list on the internet. And while I was doing this, I didn't realize how amazing parasites were, how strong and resilient and evil. And I ended up having this pain in my neck. I thought it was just because I had a little dress that covered my traps, and anything on my traps used to hurt me really bad. So I cracked my neck within seconds. The pain went to my head. I started throwing up, violently ill. It felt like my head was exploding. I couldn't see, couldn't walk. It was crazy. I then went to the hospital, spent many days in the hospital, them pumping me full of antibiotics. So I came out with candida, which was awesome. And they had no idea what was wrong with me. I kept saying parasites, diatomaceous earth. They're like, we don't know what that is, and parasites would never do this. And I was like, okay, but I couldn't really talk. I was like incoherent. Finally let me go. It moved from my head to my tailbone. And then and I couldn't walk at that point when it was in my tailbone, the pain. I was like so much pain. Then 3 days later, it went away. About a week later, I was like looking at my parents. I'm like, you guys, I don't mean to scare you, but I think it's happening again. It slowly came on that time, but it did. I went to my holistic doctor this time, and she was able to get it to calm down. It moved to my tailbone within 24 hours. Went away in about a day. Then it tried to come back a third time, but I did a lot of stuff to make sure it didn't. I then realized this is absolutely parasites. And at that time, I stopped diatomaceous earth as soon as I went in the hospital, right? I stopped all that stuff. Then at that point, I heard a word in my head. I can't tell you. I know it starts with an L, and I typed it into Google. I didn't know how to spell it or anything. I've never even heard of this word, and I typed it in, and it was all about parasites. I wish I would remember these words. All about parasites, and I just started researching and learning, and this was all from God. And at that point, then I heard another word, and everything just connected. I spent days on days of researching, and then I said, God, what do I do with this? He said, do it. So that's when I went on my first real parasite cleanse. And of course, you're going to have herxing and die-off reactions. Absolutely, of course. But it was amazing and difficult. The traumatic part of it is all the emotions that start to come up. That's what's really hard about deep cleansing. However, after my first cleanse, I went back to my doctor. She tested me, and she said, I can't find the Lyme in your body anymore. So if that's not a testimony to it, I don't know what is. But then I cleansed for a year with some herxing and detoxing reactions, but it was amazing and highly recommend.